We'll call to order the meeting of the Hanson Board of Health for September 14th, 2021. We'll do a roll call. Arlene?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes, I'm here.
And I'm Dennis O'Connell. I'm here also.
Yeah.
First order of business is to approve the minutes of August 3rd. If everyone had a chance to read them.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes.
I'll second that motion. This is Kevin.
And we'll go to roll call. Arlene
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes.
And I abstain. Next up, we'll set a meeting date for next month. If Teresa has any recommendations.
Tuesday, October 12th, because the first week in October is town meeting. We don't generally meet around there. So October 12th, and I believe that is 4 weeks.
Okay. Does that work for everybody?
That's fine. The 11th is a holiday. I don't know if that affects anything, Teresa.
Is?
I believe that's Columbus Day.
No, yeah, that should still be fine, because, I mean, unless you guys want to push it out to the 19th.
I'm good with either. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, that's fine with me too. I just wanted to point that out. That's all. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right, I didn't even realize it was a holiday. All right, so we'll stick with the 12th?
We'll stick with the 12th.
All right, perfect.
Next up is a well permit for 171 Phillips Street.
Right, Matt, Abram, you on the line? Okay, if you guys want to go on without the applicant, it's for the subdivision that's going in, the addition to the subdivision on Phillips.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the 40B
Dakota
development
Partners.
there, Dakota Partners. Yeah.
And what is this?
It's a irrigation well permit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an application. What they did was they came in after the fact, just looking to, they were originally going to tie it into domestic water supply, but putting in an irrigation, I mean, is obviously way better for us on the water demand and water usage. So they were just looking to tie the irrigation into a well. I don't see any issue other than just having them, locate the physical well once it's installed and putting that on a survey plan just to give to us to keep on file. I don't see any issue with it.
Anybody else? Any other information or?
Nope, I don't have any concerns.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve it if we're all set.
I'll make a motion to approve the well permit for, I'm sorry, what was the address there, Dennis? 171 Phillips Street. Yep.
I'll second.
And we'll go to roll call. Arlene
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. Next up, we had the transfer station budget.
Okay, so stickers expire June 30th of 2022, and I know it seems like it's a long way away, but generally if we do stickers, they have to be designed, printed, and the like. So I got together with Todd, the town accountant, and discussed with him if we increased our budget, we could go without doing the stickers, because the stickers is a huge undertaking. And he agreed that was probably the better idea. That's what FinCom has wanted to do for a long time. So no stickers, people would still have to purchase the bags. So we'd have income from that. He's concerned with this year that we're going to be short in our account, and he wants to, we need like $20,000. So I said I would also bring up to you guys perhaps increasing the cost for the ticket items, the TVs and the like.
Mm-hmm.
when I had the conversation with him this morning, he said he's concerned that the Department of Revenue, I guess the Department of Revenue has the final say in what the tax rate is for the town, and he's concerned that the transfer station could have an impact on that. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but that is what he told me this morning. So first thing is, would you guys be interested in doing away with the stickers and increasing our budget to cover the cost? And secondly, looking into, and the decision doesn't need to be made right now. The stickers I would prefer sooner rather than later, but the other item is increasing the cost of the trip ticket items to bring in more money, because we're not making enough money.
Right.
We just went up on the bags. Granted, it was only $1, and that was to cover the cost increase that Waste Zero implemented. And again, that
Right.
was the first increase in the bags that we've had since 2014 when this was first implemented. This does not mean get rid of the enterprise fund. That would be a totally separate vote. It's just pretty much eliminating this need for stickers.
I'm in favor of getting rid of the stickers. They're a pain in the neck.
You're not going to get an argument from me.
How do we determine that the people live in Hanson that are using the transfer station if they don't have a sticker or identification?
That's a good question.
So
Anybody.
Well, they would still have to purchase the bags.
Right.
I think every town around us has, you have to purchase bags. Or the majority of towns around us, you have to purchase bags to dispose of trash. So they're going to purchase.
And you have to have a sticker.
Pardon me?
And you also have to have a sticker.
That could be. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
I know that they have to purchase bags, though. So if you're going to purchase bags, why would you purchase bags in another town when you have to do it in your own town anyways? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. You're thinking, Teresa. I think that, the bags are what's going to keep people honest. And I don't really see the need for a sticker because if you could throw away anything, then I could see someone trying to sneak in there and do that. But if you have to buy the bags, I can't see anyone from another town or anything trying to come to our town, buy our bags that they have to buy, and then utilizing our dump resources. I just don't see it. I think that the stickers are kind of just a wasted effort. That's just what it seems like to me. It just seems like it's over the top now. Back in the day when all you needed was a sticker and you could throw away any trash bag, then it had a purpose. But now you have to purchase those bags. So I think that the sticker is kind of irrelevant. And again, the employees up there, that if they want to challenge someone that they think, they're seeing a particular person in there, all week, every day or something, then they can, they could question them to see their registration or see their license or something like that. I would think that, if they were to challenge someone on it. But I think the bags are going to keep everyone honest.
See, and I don't believe that. I believe if I want to get rid of my TV and it's cheaper to do it in Hanson than in the town that I live in, I'm bringing it to Hanson. All of that other disposable stuff.
Well,
if it's cheaper
again, to your point, again to your point on that, Eileen, I think, like Teresa had said, I think we should look at the cost of that, maybe do a quick audit, see what other towns are charging, and see what, trash pickup companies are also charging, just to make sure that we're on par with all of them. So, I mean, you're not going to have that. You're not going to have someone from Pembroke come over to pay the same money to get rid of something in Hanson.
No.
And if our prices, are not to say competitive, but they're similar to other towns, similar to other services, which they should be. We're providing a service, but we also need to bring money into our budget.
Right. So do you guys want to take a vote on the
maybe
stickers?
if we do our at with just competitors, I guess.
I'm sorry, say again? Kevin, was that you?
It was, but I think
I
he's
didn't
having
say
an
anything.
issue.
No, I'm sorry.
Out.
Okay. Do you guys want to take a vote on stickers, or do you want to mull it over? What do you want to do?
I'm in favor of getting rid of the stickers as long as the fees are commensurate, so that we
Yeah.
don't become, so that we don't become a dumping hole.
Right, no, absolutely. We can't afford to be a
So
dumping hole.
that's the only contention, the only
Okay,
worry I have.
okay. So what do you guys want to do?
Arlene, do you think if we, revisited our fees, do you think that would probably address what you're concerned with? I agree with you to a point that if we're way cheaper than a surrounding town, I could see someone coming here to utilize our services if it's cheaper. But if we're kind of, matching other people's prices, do you think that would alleviate the concern you had?
Yes, because I
Okay.
know I was
Good.
at the dump this week, and somebody who came didn't have a sticker came, and they were turned away. But I also don't know what town they were from.
Right.
But we
Okay,
need to make sure that we don't become the dumping town because our prices are cheaper.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
My
It
only
also-
thought on getting
Our
rid of the
volume.
stickers was the extra, the additional effort that now, Teresa has to do, Gil has to do, the renewals of stickers, that kind of stuff, and everything that goes along with it, the extra work and the fees people have to pay, to renew them, and just staying on top of that. I'm just thinking that to free up that extra time that they spend doing that stuff to focus on other areas, I think if we, like you said, if we bring our prices up a little bit, so we try to, avoid people using us that don't live in town, I think we'd probably be better off, where you still have to buy the bags. I think just they
Right.
can spend the time in other areas rather than focusing on dump stickers and renewals of stickers, if it's not really warranted anymore.
Teresa, how much did we take in when we first did the stickers? Do you remember?
Well, if I actually did, hang on one second. I multiplied, and again, some people have not paid for their sticker because if you bring in an old sticker, you get a new sticker. Hold on, 262
Right.
times 30. So over the 3 years, we've taken in less than $80,000. It's $79,560, and it's less than that because everybody hasn't paid for a new sticker. You know what I mean? If they bring in an old sticker, they get
Something
it.
happened to it. I think I had to change cars and I had to get a new sticker. So
Right. But this is all the stickers that have been given out in the past 3 years. If you multiply that by 30, it comes out to $79,000. $79,560.
we still brought in easily $75,000
For 3
Yeah.
years.
Over 3 years.
over 3 years. That's still better than nothing.
I'm not necessarily saying we shouldn't bring the money in. I'm just saying the actual, if we bring that money in still for the revenue, I'm just saying the physical, renewing the stickers and having a physical sticker. I'm not saying like we should, get rid of the fee. I think if we incorporate it somehow into, the cost either of the bags or the cost of,
Trip tickets.
trip tickets. Exactly. Thank you, Des. So if we incorporate that cost just back into that, I'm just saying get rid of the physical dump sticker itself and the extra work that goes into the renewals and having to stay on top of it. Not necessarily the income generated from it. I'm just saying we should just kind of restructure it somehow so the money's still coming in. We're not, cutting our budget. We're keeping it the same, if not improving it.
And I don't think that that's going to happen. I can't see how we're going to raise an extra $30,000 a year by increasing the bags. People will then, if the bags get too costly, they'll go to one of the companies that pick up. You increase the amount of money it costs to drop off stuff, they can go to Whitman and drop it off there themselves. I think you're not going to be able to get that $30,000 a year loss by adding the cost into either bags or at the kiosk. I think that's lost income. And, maybe instead of 3 years, you make the sticker good for 5. But I still think that's $30,000 a year that we are going to have to replace.
Could we
And we're
find figures
do it.
on how much we are deriving from trip tickets annually, and we can revisit that?
If our budget is increased, it would make up for the lost money of the stickers.
How do we increase the budget?
Well,
When we do our budget in whenever the budget's due, they haven't done it yet, for the next fiscal year.
And we have to get that money from where? Town meeting?
Yes. All budgets are approved through town meeting.
Oh, I know that, but and it's the source of money. The problem that we've always had is FinCom has not wanted us to take money. They wanted us to be self-sustaining, so I don't see them being happy that
This
we're
is
going to...
exactly what, when I talked to Todd, this is exactly what they've been asking for.
Hey, Dennis, you want to, maybe should we circle back this at the end of the meeting and get these septic plans out of here? Because I know we got a couple other guys on the line.
Yes, why don't we do that?
Okay.
Let's go right to the septic plans. We'll start with 529 McQuon Street. Mr. Crawford.
Yes,
Hi, how are you?
good, you?
Good, thanks. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Crawford on his plans?
No, I worked it over. I don't see anything, Dennis. It was just, they were looking for a depth of groundwater, and then there was just a note just on the variation of soils, I believe, on this, that just to verify that the soil is what they're designing the system by
Mhm.
at the time of when they do a bottom hole, I'm assuming. That was the only thing I saw, that Mr. Donovan had a note highlighted on there, just because the soils have variated a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was just to verify in the field when, I believe, when they do a dig out on it. Does that sound accurate, sir, the engineer?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I forget your name.
Bob,
Mr.
yes,
Okay.
that's correct. I could point out that,
Okay.
that within the limits of the ends, both ends of the system, there is indications of all sand and gravel. If you go out further beyond the limit of the excavation around the system, it does get into a till-type material. The actual leaching area is big enough for 4 bedrooms, so I could have actually designed it, 8 feet shorter, and it wouldn't have been as close to the poor areas as it is. But I chose to, provide some extra leaching.
Sure. So at the time you guys do a dig out and you got a bottom hole there, that you can just verify that those soils are consistent with what your design criteria was. And if it did change, I guess we're going to design it for the whatever you have, or they want it. I believe Mr. Donovan recommended doing an additional perk test.
Yeah, it would be designed for the poorest material we find within the limits of.
Correct. Yep.
I don't anticipate that, but
yep,
that's what we do.
Sure. Yep. Okay. All right. I don't see an issue, Dennis.
If there's no more questions, I'll entertain a motion.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the plan for 529 McQuon Street.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to. Yep. I'll make a motion to approve 529 McQuon Street. I'm sorry.
And we have a second?
I seconded. Yep.
Okay, and we'll go to roll call. Arlene
Yes.
and Kevin?
Yes.
Yes, also. Thank you, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Next up is 871 East Washington Street, Mr. Silva. Mr. Silva with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, so 871 East Washington Street, the proposed plan has a septic system on the left side of the house. That's one of the least invasive areas for us to put a system. It's actually one of the few that's available. The front of the property has utilities that are coming in from there, gas, water, and so forth. The right side and the rear where the existing septics were, but we also have wetlands to the right and to the rear, and also we are within the riverfront, the outer riparian zone of the riverfront. So we kind of have it in the one place it can go. We've tried to design it so that it would be palatable to a house in terms of asking for the 1 foot reduction in the groundwater, because we're very tight to the property line on that side. And we want to make sure that it's not an eyesore, but that it still functions fine. And we've addressed all the comments that were provided by the reviewer.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Silva?
Oh, look good to me, and I've read over all the review comments were addressed like you had mentioned. I don't see any issues.
I will say, if you guys approve this, it is pending conservation approval. They're on conservation's agenda for October 6th. I don't know if it'll be approved October 6th, but that is the first time they'll go before conservation.
We're actually outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. It's
I can only
the outside of the riverfront that
by
we're
conservation.
right.
Any other questions?
I guess the question is, do we pass it contingent upon conservation allowing it
Yes.
instead of looping back or not doing anything with it today?
Yes. Approve it pending conservation approval.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we accept 871 East Washington Street pending approval of conservation.
I'll
Thank
second. This is Kevin.
And we'll go to roll call, Arlene
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. Thank you very much.
I thank you very much.
Yeah, we're going. Should we go back to the fee waivers?
Sure, I can explain that to you. So the town administrator, Lisa Green, came up to the office last week and asked if the board would be willing to waive the fees for these two food trucks for the car show that's being held, I want to say it's October 10th.
And isn't it on?
It's at McQuon, yes, and it's to benefit Dollars for Scholars. So she wanted to know if you guys would waive the fees for these two vendors.
Does anyone have a problem with that?
Nope, I say yes. I have no problem with it.
Do we have to take a vote on that?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll entertain a motion to waive the fees for Mama Deb's and Lulu's.
I'll make a motion that we waive the fees for those two food trucks for the car show.
I'll second that motion. This is Kevin.
And we'll go to roll call. Arlene,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and yes also.
Thank you.
As far as the emergency hire goes, I'm gonna have to table that right now. I have some questions, so I'm gonna remove that name for consideration.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We still want to post that position.
So you want me to post it?
Yeah. I mean, we still need someone in there.
Absolutely, we do.
You know,
Okay.
as soon as possible.
All right.
Teresa, do you know where the original applications that came in, does Gil know where they are?
Yeah, Gil should have them.
Okay.
He's on the line. Gil?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you still have the resumes for the two?
Applications. There was just two people, and the one woman thought it was going to be a lot of hours, which it wasn't. And we never really got clarification as far as how many hours we wanted to give, because we did not know what was actually going to take place. And we've learned in the last year and a half how we actually do really need somebody, but the person has to be on like an on-call basis, like the VNA was. Checking them even like once a day or twice a day or something, and then following up on that. So,
But my question is, do we still have the information to reach out to them? That's all I wanted to know.
Pardon?
Do we still have their resumes?
Yes.
Okay, that was my question.
All right.
So yes, if anyone knows
There you go.
anyone available, do we need to fill that position as soon as possible? Any old and unfinished business?
Shoot, are we gonna go back to the transfer station?
Yeah, I mean, what do we want to go back for to address? Just the fee increase or?
I want to get an idea. So we were talking about the FinCom has wanted us to go to be on the tax rolls, but they've also, as part of that, wanted us to get rid of our enterprise fund. But if we're not getting rid of the enterprise fund, is FinCom still going to say, well, you should stop asking for money? So I'm trying to figure that part out, because they've always said, if you're not going to be self-sufficient, then you should get rid of the enterprise fund and just be on the tax rolls. Is that
When I
what we're...
asked today, I specifically asked that question. If we did it this way, would we have to get rid of the enterprise fund? And I was told that that would be a separate vote of the board.
Okay. But that's the way FinCom has wanted it.
Because I knew you would ask that question.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I was told.
Pretty good question.
Yep. I guess we'd have to look at the fees to see, can we generate that $30,000 a year plus more by doing that? By getting rid of the sticker fee, can we do that?
Well, like I said, you'd have to look at the number of trip tickets and, you know,
Yep.
What the most popular item is on the trip tickets, and, you know, try to attach that one particular item the best, you know?
Well, I think that kiosks should give us some of that information. I don't know about the trip tickets themselves because they're not consistent in collecting them at the transfer station, so I don't know how those are tracked. But
well, I run a report on them, on the trip tickets.
On
Yes.
the ones that you do or the kiosk?
I don't really do any. Everybody goes to the kiosk because if you want a trip ticket and you come here to use your charge card, there's a fee.
Right.
If you go to, because the bank that we use charges a fee. The bank that is used for the kiosk doesn't require a fee. So so it's actually cheaper if you're using a charge card. It's cheaper to go to the transfer station and purchase it.
Right. So we pay a fee.
No,
we pay
the price is the same. So, so when they purchase it, I run a report weekly that shows exactly what's been purchased.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can run it. I put date to date and run it that way. And Jeannie and I, the town treasurer, reconcile that.
I would need to see where we're going to get the income that we're losing.
It would be in the budget. It would be rolled into the budget.
Anything we didn't make would be rolled into the budget, tax-wise, Arlene.
But
Any shortfall from any increase in trip tickets.
yeah, I can't see FinCom being very happy with an open policy in terms of open pocketbook for the transfer station. We can ask for more money, but I think there's a top line. At some point, they're going to say you are not bringing in enough money to pay for half of what you're doing. Cut back on services because you can't afford to provide them. I don't see them having an open pocketbook saying, yep, whatever you want, we're going to give it to you. I just don't see that. So I don't know what the upper limit is, but is it $20,000, $40,000 this year? We've had to fight for the past 4 or 5 years for anything that we've asked for at town meeting. The FinCom has 90% of the time been against it and not providing it. So I can say, yep, add it to the budget, but that doesn't mean that, in fact, it's going to happen. So that's my concern, that we're going to be losing more than we're gaining. Are we going to be getting an extra $60,000 a year? $40,000 a year? because we're going to take away at least 30, and I don't think we can recoup that in bags and the kiosk.
But this
I
was a
just
FinCom recommendation.
What is it?
This was a FinCom recommendation, though.
That we just asked for them for it?
No, when I went down to
we
Todd,
eliminate
Todd
the
said
stick.
that this is what FinCom has been asking for.
That we go over to just being on the tax base. But that also included getting rid of the enterprise fund. Every time FinCom's talked about it, that's what they've wanted. They wanted us just go on tax base and get rid of the enterprise fund. I'd be surprised that they're not asking for that same thing. Is it possible for someone to reach out to FinCom and ask them directly? Because you got that from Todd, right?
I asked Todd. I'm the one that started the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. To get rid of the stickers.
So we have not talked to FinCom.
No, I don't talk to FinCom.
Okay.
Should we put out feelers on that
I think so.
before we take any action, or should we vote to, I don't know. Should we vote to eliminate the stickers and then come back to visit the budget, or how do you want to handle it?
I guess if you vote to get rid of the stickers, there's no reason to come back and talk about the budget, because that door closes.
Yeah, I agree with you a little bit, Eileen, that if we don't have a plan for the budget, we probably shouldn't do anything with it in that sense, I guess.
More information and seeing what we really can do that is the best benefit to the budget. And we haven't looked at anything other than, the stickers are a pain in the neck and nobody wants to do them. But I can't imagine that we're just going to keep saying we want, and that we're going to get it. And especially if we're cutting revenue and we don't, I just don't see how we can make that money up and make more, because we're still asking for more money to cover the cost of the transfer station. So I would rather really look at all of the information and have all of that before we make a decision about cutting anything.
Okay.
And I don't mind helping in gathering that information. I don't mind at all. So if, Teresa, there's anything you need me to do, I have no problem helping you do that.
I'm just thinking, I mean, based off, bag sales and trip tickets, I would think if we took a total number, generated between the two for a year, and we're saying we generated, what was it? Was it $30,000 over what for the stickers?
$30,000, Kevin, was just the sticker fee.
No, I know. I understand that. But is that for 1 year or 3 is what we were saying?
3.
We generated almost 70,000, but some of that was based on the numbers of tickets that were sold. So we generated almost 80, but some of it was stickers that we gave out more than once that people didn't pay for. So if you rounded it down to even 75, and then you rounded it down more and said, all right, it was 30,000 a year, and we gained 60,000. That was per year from the.
Can I interrupt?
Yep.
So you take the number of stickers,
right,
that I have given out.
Yep.
And multiply that by 30, because each sticker is $30, and divide it by 3. It comes out to about $25,000 a year.
Okay, so if we took that $25,000 a year and we looked at the percentage of what we had for sales of bags versus trip tickets, and we increased those items by a percentage, I think we'd have that money back. I'm not saying get rid of the money. I'm saying, and these people just need to understand. Look, you're just not paying the money over here. You're paying it here. We're just getting rid of the stickers. We're, the cost of the stickers that we had we're just not making you put them on your cars anymore. But the cost is obviously still there to use the dump.
Right.
But we're just rolling those costs, whether it's, a 10% increase on all these items. It's 10% on the bags. It's 10% on whatever that percentage is. I think if we just looked at the stats of what we had for sales, and say 60% of our income came from bags and 40% came from that. So let's take that number of 30% and divide it up, and 60% of that 30 grand or whatever it is goes to the bag cost increase, and 40% go, something similar to that. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking.
I understand it. I just don't know how significantly that increases the cost of the bag. So we have to look
I'm not saying put it all on the bags. I'm saying if we had, $100,000 in income from trip tickets, then with the trip tickets, somehow we could increase their costs of whatever we need to make up that 30 grand income. I'm just saying these people are still going to pay it. We're still going to have the income coming in. It's not going to be from a sticker, and we're not going to have to deal with putting stickers on cars, renewing stickers, and all the wasted effort that Teresa and Gil are dealing with that. Photocopying registrations and getting this person and these people, that don't have the right paperwork. They have to come back 4 different times. I mean, they're residents and they're already paying, whether it's a trip ticket or they're paying for the bags to use the service. And like you said, I agree that as long as our prices on the trip tickets are in sync with what these other towns and what all these other services for people that have pickup, that they're paying the same to us, that we shouldn't have any abuse of the system, I wouldn't feel.
Yeah, and most pickup companies aren't picking up bulk items anymore, just an FYI. So people are going to want to dispose of them at the transfer station.
Right.
Because they used to. Pre-COVID, they did, but now they don't.
Can I say something here?
Sure.
So I think, definitely look into the, increasing the price of the items that are, the trip tickets. And we should increase that because, like Teresa just said, most of the companies are not picking up bulky items anymore. If you drive around town, you see couches and chairs and recliners been sitting in people's yards for months. So I think most definitely, review the pricing as far as the trip tickets, and no question in my mind is increase that, and work from there. We can research this a little bit further, but I think that's one of the first things we should really do, and then review things afterwards, and just research it a little bit more. I mean, the tickets, yes, we should, but then again, look at what it takes to do them. So maybe look at this again for the next meeting.
Yes, definitely.
I think the last increase in trip ticket items was for July 1st of 2019. Just
Teresa,
looking at my list.
How much data do we actually have as far as like how many bags? Because I know they're sold elsewhere, but do we have like records of how, like, could we figure out how many bags we sold like 2020,
Well,
how many bags we sold 2019, and that kind of information, or is that kind of tough?
I think that's kind of tough because people buy them in by the case.
Yep.
And I think, maybe when they have extra money they buy, maybe not,
like
Shaw's or Stop and Shop, but I think the smaller places, I think Shaw's and Stop and Shop, they probably buy a lot more than they need at one time.
But we still know how much. The company must send us something that tells us how many bags have been purchased.
Well, I have an invoice, but it's by case. Hold on. I actually have one right in front of me. Hold on one second, because I just did the invoices today. Hang on.
What I'd like is get a price list of, say, Rockland and other surrounding towns. And if our prices are that much lower to begin with, that might solve our problem right there. Just bringing them up to current fees, commensurate with the surrounding towns.
Even the sticker fee, what we charge in Hanson is significantly less than any surrounding town.
Yeah.
Significantly.
So, I mean, if, on the trip tickets, if we were going to bring them up, say, just to bring them up to the levels of other towns, if we're going to make an additional, say, $10 off every trip ticket, we might see revenue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we won't know till we find out the other price list for the surrounding towns.
Right. So I can put that together. The invoice that we get from Waste Zero, it just has the number of cases that were purchased for large and for the 2 different sizes, large and small bags.
Okay.
It doesn't say who bought what. It just says the 27 large cases were purchased, and this is the cost. And 12.
We don't know how many bags are in a case.
I would have to look that up. I don't know off the top of my head, no.
Okay, that would be helpful to know, because then we get it, we'll
Don't
get a
have-
number of bags.
Yeah,
Because
I
if we
would
know,
back and
you know,
find.
it's 2,500 in a case, and we're selling 25 cases, we have an idea of what's being generated. It may be not the exact time, but we know
Right.
those cases went out,
Yeah,
and it still gives us a rough idea.
yeah, I have no idea. I'll have to check.
Okay.
But yeah, back to kind of what I was thinking. Again, I don't know if it made sense, but if we said we were bringing in $25,000 a year on the dump stickers from that, now if we took that 25,000 and like I was saying, we kind of dispersed it and increased. If we just classified it, say from our trip tickets, the amount of money the dump brings in as a total from between trip tickets and bags, that's 40% of our total. So then we would absorb that 10,000, which would be 40% of that 25. So we would absorb that 10,000 and increase somehow on the trip tickets. And then the 60% of our total, revenue for the year was bag sales. So we'd take 60% of that $25,000, which would be $15,000. So we'd absorb that into our bag cost for the year. That's the only reason why I was asking if we knew how many bags we kind of, used or sold during the year, because if we took that number and in the sales on it, and we were to increase it, say 60% of that 25 grand, which would be 15 grand. If we took that and increased it $15,000, how much the bag sales would go up, what the cost would be, to Arlene's question of how much it would actually cost people.
Right.
That was kind of where I was going with that, why I asked on the bag sales, but.
Yeah, I'll have to see what I can figure out. I'll have to look at the reports and see if it has a breakdown or anything like that, because I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking if we had a total revenue of, say, just for easy numbers, $100,000 that we brought in between stickers, from trash bags and from trip tickets.
Yeah.
Right, and we took them and we increased, and it was, 60% of that was from bags. So 60,000 revenue was from bags and 40,000 was from trip tickets. So if we increased that 40%, if we took 40% of that 25 grand that we're getting from the stickers, that would be 10,000. So we'd add in $10,000 of cost on those bag purchases. And then on the trip tickets, and then 60,000 would be for the bags. 60%, I'm sorry. So that would be 15,000 onto that. Just onto our cost to just absorb those costs. They're still paying the same amount of money, and it would be distributed evenly, I would think, based
Right.
off the percentage of where the money's coming in from. So we would increase them accordingly. So it wouldn't be, we're increasing all the bag costs and the trip tickets are staying the same. It would just
Right.
be kind of based off the usage of how people are utilizing the transfer station.
Well, why don't we table it till next month, and we'll wait till we get those figures. We'll try to get a better idea of where we're going to get the money from.
And Teresa, I'll help with anything that I can.
Okay, thank you.
Like going through all the old invoices and stuff. Yeah, I could do that.
And can we get any input from FinCom maybe? And what they'd
Call
like
Kevin
to see?
Sullivan. I'd have to get his contact information. I haven't spoken to him in a few years.
I mean, can we, just say what would you guys like to see, or any recommendations, or
Yeah.
The only question I do have on this is, when are these up for renewal, and is us waiting for another meeting
The current
complicated?
stickers expire July 1st, but the sticker needs to be designed, printed, and I usually start selling new stickers in like March.
Uh-huh.
Because it takes so long, because if anybody that has a sticker, it expires. Everybody needs one at the same time. So we still have time, which is why I brought it up so early.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we can just get some information just on, where our revenue's coming from just for bags and trip tickets and that, and then maybe we could try to figure out a solution. What do you guys think?
I do like the idea of getting rid of the stickers. I'm got to be honest, So.
I do too. I just think it's kind of a wasted resources, wasted effort that you know,
It is. It's a major pain in the neck, and as long as we can do it, in a productive manner, I'd like to get rid of them.
yeah. And to Arlene's point of just making sure that we're not a dumping ground, just adjusting our prices accordingly, so it's not going to be enticing for someone to want to go, and use our services when they don't live in town.
Right.
I think that would keep, outsiders, keep them out, and they really have no advantage to going to Hanson. And then also to, the employees up there, if they want to challenge someone that they don't think, they're seeing a guy in a pickup truck come in there that looks like a contractor coming in there every day. I mean, they could challenge that person. Granted, they still have to buy the bags, but they could challenge that person and just ask for, identification or registration or something. And, I think that would be enough, to really take care of any potential abuse that you might see. I mean, that's just my opinion, but
Okay, so I'll add it to October meeting.
Okay.
That's
Do we go straight to the agent's report, Gil?
I don't know if I heard you.
Okay,
Gil, you
the
ready?
biggest thing is that, the nearest thing there, get that done. Everything's pretty much going okay. Getting the cases to CTC and a couple of things.
Can't,
And,
you
just
talking to
moving
us?
things along.
You hear him?
No?
Oh,
Gil?
Gil,
baby?
are you moving your phone?
Well, I'm trying to hold it in front of me here.
Yeah, and because you're doing that, you're moving in and out, so we're getting garbled voices or almost nothing. He probably doesn't have the ability to use it. Bluetooth. Now you've disappeared.
Gil?
Okay, how's this? Can you hear me?
Yes.
If you hold your head just like that, yes.
No, sorry, start talking.
Okay, try this again.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like half and half.
We can hear you now.
I'm just coming into Halifax here now, so.
Are you still talking to us?
I think I've lost you here, so. Yep.
What are you doing, pretty boy?
It's hard to tell if it's the phone moving or if he's the signal.
No, I think it's the signal. Can you hear? How can you hear this?
We can hear you now.
Okay. What I said, the COVID stuff. We still have a lot of permits out there going. Repairs, new construction. A lot of inspections, a lot of complaints. The whole town has a rodent situation, and is out for a lot of complaints like that. And everybody's home. Everybody's complaining about everything. A couple of properties, looking at a couple of properties people complaining about. So a greater portion of the week now has been complaints about different things, and people just decide they want to start complaining. So the office is totally busy all the time. We have issues with different things, and just trying to handle things as they go. But the offices remain busy. It just it's overloaded at times. Like you say, Teresa's constantly going, and it just it needs some relief. It needs some relief if this Delta variant, this other one coming up, is going to take on so much. We gotta separate things a little bit. So I think we just try to head in the best direction here. Get somebody else in the office, and continue with the Maven stuff and handle all the reporting of the COVID stuff. So I think that's probably the best thing we should do right now. So pretty much everything else is the same. So anybody get any questions?
Do we have any recommendations or anything that we can do to recommend for people for the rat problem? Because it's happening all over the place. And I talked to somebody they thought it had something to do with the water table. But are there any recommendations that we can make to people when it becomes a problem in their area?
Well, when I go out, when I have a little handout I give to everybody on rats, what attracts them, what you should do with things, it's like a 3-page handout I've been giving everybody because it's an increasing problem, and I do go out on everyone. I've been last month or so I've been giving a handout to people, probably from another town, what to do about them and how to try to control them. They're here. I don't think they're going to leave. Say the water, we get a lot of rain and everything. It's forced them above ground, but they're every town. We got an email from Delshon and Rockland. They've got complaints all over the place, and they're figuring out how to handle it. The guy from Wales, they've sent out hundreds of letters to residents.
What's exacerbating it, Gil? Is it the water that's exacerbating the situation, or?
Water table being up.
It's
the water. I talked to Emmerich Terminated, and they told me, the rats left all the restaurants because the restaurants are shut down, and they went into residential areas. Now, the restaurants are, gearing back up again. So the new rats go to the restaurants, and the old rats are just hanging around where they found food. A rat will travel 2 to 3 miles. The mouse will travel a quarter mile. So the rat will move. So
but they're in like 10 different towns on the South Shore.
Right.
Everybody's having, and they're in neighborhoods. They're not near restaurants. People are calling the rats are in their backyard.
Right.
And it's all over the South Shore, not just us.
A water table, right?
Yeah, and they all think it's the water table. It's run the rats out of wherever they were living because it's been raining so much.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all above ground.
They're definitely on the move. Like I say, as far as a rat complaint, it's probably 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes. But like I said, I have a little thing I pass out to people when I go out to see them. I've had an instance where people say they come from a abandoned house. So if the house is sealed up, they're not really coming from there. They're traveling. Like I said, these rats will travel 2 or 3 miles. But every time I go out on a call, I bring a little thing that tells them how to control it and what to do. And you just gotta, it's a residential problem. It's not a town problem, but I'm giving out information to the people. So.
Yeah, I just know it's been a huge problem all over.
Yeah, like I said, it's a residential problem. People have to control the rats themselves. It's not a town problem, but we provide the information. If it's coming from abandoned property, like I've been out a couple of times, people feel they're coming from abandoned properties. I've gone out to the particular houses they say it's coming from, but they're there. They're looking for food, and they go to the food source. So, and usually abandoned houses and a food source is just a shelter for them. So, but the food source has got to be near where they're coming from. So.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, towns like I was amazed at the Weymouth Health Agent, Weymouth Public Health Officer there. They've sent out hundreds of letters about these rats. Everybody's inundated with it. So.
Anything else in the report?
That's about it. That's about it.
Any questions for Gil? Any old unfinished business? Anything anyone want to discuss? No? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
All right, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that motion. It's Kevin.
We'll go to roll call. Arlene.
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. Thank you. Have a good evening.